Hello, I am 8mm Mauser Man, and today's video is a review of the SVBony spotting scope. Now, I want to be transparent right off the bat that they did send this to me for free. However, I was open with them, and I will be open with you, that I'll talk about both the pros and the cons of this spotting scope, and where I think it would be used the best. They did ask me to do an unboxing, so I will show that to you first, and then we'll come back here in just a second, and I'll let you see it. So I'm going to cut this black packaging off. The only thing I've done to the package so far is just covering up the shipping label so you don't all have my address. So let's peel all that off. And then we have these pieces right here. And then with that, I should be able to pull that. And it does have, oh, it's looking like it's in a package. Okay, so there is bubble wrap around the tripod that it comes with. That's nice. That looks like it'll fit on my chronograph, so I can use this for some things other than just the spotting scope. So that is how the tripod works. Let's open up the bag. All right, so that is all that is in this package, is the bag and the tripod. Okay, so the package comes with the bag itself, which is empty now, but inside of the bag was the instructions, a lens cleaning cloth, and then the scope itself wrapped in plastic. So we will unwrap this. Didn't mean to knock the cap off. So then that is what the scope looks like, and I will get you some more footage of this as we get a chance to unwrap it and use it and attach it and everything. All right, so I thought I would set it up to show you how simple it is. This is the carrying case that it came in. This is the tripod. Now the tripod is super simple. The legs are tight enough that it's just a friction fit you can pull out, and if it gets loose, you can tighten it with a ratchet and a wrench, it looks like. To swivel the mount, you just twist the handle to open it, and then you can swivel it in any direction, and when you want it to stay where it is, you just twist it back righty-tighty, and it will lock down. I had no problem when I was using this with getting it to where I needed it, and then twisting it tight, and having it stay there. So here is the spotting scope. Let me take off the lens covers. So all you do is put the scope on top, twist the knob, tighten it down, and there you go. And this is a standard tripod knob thing. So if you have a tripod like the one I use for shooting or something like that, this scope will fit on there. And if you want to, you can use the tripod for other things too, which I may end up doing at some point. I'm not really quite sure about that. And anything else that came in here is the small cleaning patch. And that should be it, other than the lens covers, which I already took off. So now let's talk about the basics of the scope. I'll start at this end at the eyepiece. You can switch the eyepiece and so you can remove it completely, but if you have it on, you can have it out like that. But I prefer to have it in because I feel like you need to get your eye really close to it in order for it to work. So I just have it in all the time. In fact, I may even take it off. So then right here, you can rotate to adjust the zoom. The zoom adjusts from 25 right here to 75 right here. Super easy to use. And then this knob right here is the focus. Sometimes these will have gross adjustment and fine adjustment. The one that I got is just one knob, but it works well enough for what I was using it for. Then if it's really bright and for whatever reason you need to get in a little bit less light, can open up the sunshade, and that will let in just a smaller amount less light. So that's a general overview. Let's talk about my use of it. I wanted to sight in this rifle, which is a Training 22, and it has these relatively nice target sights, peep sight on the back. So I like the sight, thought I'd sight it in. The spotting scope works perfectly, however, I did have some problems with the rifle. So I will not talk about those here, I'll talk about the scope specifically. Even shooting 22, I had no problem seeing the holes in the targets all the way out to 100 yards, and I don't think I would have problems seeing out 200, maybe 300 yards past that. Sadly, the range I was at only went out to 300. However, after I was done and I took pictures of this, I zoomed in on some trees that were, if I had to guess, maybe 300 yards away, maybe even further. And I could see individual pine cones and individual needles. So because of that, I would say that you could probably use this scope well out to that distance and be fine, especially if you were shooting something bigger than 22 long rifle, something that maybe punched a larger hole in it. As with anything I review on this channel, I'm going to have this for a little while. So because of that, I will keep on using it, and if I experience any problems down the road, I'll add a pinned comment below so that you can see those. Next, let's talk about the pros and cons of this spotting scope, and then after that, we'll talk about my personal opinions about whether or not I think you should get it. So I'll start with the pros. The first thing I would say is the price. I've seen spotting scopes often range from, about $75 to $150. This one is on eBay and Amazon at $50. So at that price point, I mean, I would say that it's pretty good for what you're getting, and it works pretty well. Like I said, I really didn't have any problems using it. One of the other pros I would say is this tripod works really well, and I was able to adjust it and have it stay where it was aiming and all of those kinds of things, the things you really want out of a spotting scope. Since I did not have a spotter with me and I was just shooting by myself, it was helpful to be able to get this dialed in and then go to my rifle and then just look back in it whenever I need it. I also like how simple this is to use. I have very little experiences with spotting scopes, and I was able to pick this up and use it no problem. It was just intuitive and easy to figure out. Also, and I know this is kind of a small detail, but being that I have a small channel and I'm on a tight budget, I really like that the tripod is able to mount like my camera and other things like that it's the same mount as you'd use for like a GoPro or anything like that. That's a cool touch. And I guess I should also add one last thing. The clarity that this provides, again, for that price point of $50 is really good. I could see birds out my window that were several hundred yards away, and I could see not just a general shape, but I could actually see what the birds were doing. I could see when they were picking at their feathers and things like that. So I'm pretty happy with the scope's performance. Next, let's talk about some cons. And the first thing I want to say is something to do with this bag. I don't really like that it's just one single pocket, because the tripod is metal, so when I have the tripod and the scope in the same bag, the body of the scope has gotten some scratches and dings from the metal tripod. Now, personally, I'm not too concerned about that, but I could see that some people might be worried about that, might want to keep their things looking nice. Personally, as long as it functions, that's fine by me, and it's long enough that you're not going to scratch either lens doing that. I also had some problems with the eyepiece. Not that it didn't function, but that I just really needed to get my eye all the way in there in order to see. And maybe this is common with spotting scopes, but I had to get my eye really close. In fact, I had to lift up my glasses to do it. So I would take some shots with my rifle and lift up my glasses, look in the scope, and then go back. So it wasn't a huge problem, it was just a minor inconvenience, but something I thought I should note anyway. And this little lens cover thing, the rubber is not super well made. So if I undo it, it does not hold its normal shape. And it almost makes me ask if that's supposed to be removable or if it's just not built the best. Like, it looks like there may be some glue inside of there or something. But yeah, like it's not even holding its shape out because I've stored it closed, but I also use it closed, so I thought might as well. And now we might as well check to see if the lens cover, yeah, that lens cover will not stay on without the rubber piece. And with the rubber piece like this, like how I had it before, the lens cover will stay on, but it is nice and tight. I guess if I'm being sort of nitpicky, I would like if the tripod was just a little bit more complex to allow you to go at some different angles. Because it's just a friction fit, I guess you can technically put it about halfway, but it doesn't stay up if you try to adjust it in any way. The legs will move and it will not stay there for very long. So it would be kind of nice if you could do that, but also I can see why they wouldn't at this price point. It's, again, I think excusable for what it is. So now we'll talk about my opinion of this and where I think it serves best. So I'm actually pretty happy with this, although I know I was nitpicky with some of the cons there, but I'm pretty happy with how this worked out for me, and I'm happy with how I used it. Shooting at 100 yards, this worked flawlessly, and although I couldn't see my shot holes with even my glasses, I could see it through the scope, so it obviously did its job. And I think it would work out to 300 plus meters or yards. there's something we often talk about in the gun world about if cheap products like this are just as good as the great name brand products. And generally, I would say that they aren't. But I don't think you need everything to be just as good as the big project, or as the big product for it to do its job. And I think this scope will definitely do its job. If somebody is going out and buying a $1,200 plus precision rifle, and with that $1,200 plus precision rifle, they're spending $2 a round, I think they can afford to spend $150. And they probably will use it and get the extra use out of it. However, for somebody like me, and maybe somebody like you, depending on your needs, who might want to take a rifle out to 200 or maybe 300 yards, maybe even a little bit past that, I think this scope will shine and it won't break your budget. So for the $50 that you can get this scope for, I would definitely recommend it if you are using it for applications like I do, which is relatively close ranges given that it's a spotting scope. So I hope this video was helpful and entertaining for you. If it was, let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more videos like this where I'm reviewing products, again, let me know in the comments and I can do that. I want to say thank you to SVBony for sending me this scope because it has been something useful and I'll definitely use it again. And I want to say thank you to you guys for watching this far, and please like and subscribe if you like this content. This is not going to replace my every other week videos, so I will still see you guys on Saturday. Goodbye.